Yo, people, I know you guys aren't waiting in the queues for this. Who cares? But I'm gonna say, oh snap! Just kidding. I'm just kidding. There's no one watching. But now welcome back. Weekend roundup. I like to say it like that. No, the weekend roundup got a lot of decent games, a lot of decent goals in my opinion, but also you got a lot of teams who kind of fumbled the bag. Man United, but yeah, we're here to discuss a lot of these games, give our insights, and whatever else comes to our dumb brains, whatever comes up, that's what we're going to talk about. But Matt is back. He is repping AC Milan, who took an L unfortunately this past weekend. Bro, did you see the clip that Parma posted that's been going viral?
Yes.
Bro.
Pulisic scored. This is a Pulisic kit. I cannot. I'm not officially affiliated with the club like I am Tottenham or Columbus Crew. Which shout out to my crew yesterday. Got the League's Cup done. So I can just be like, Pulisic's my guy. Just figure it out, I guess, AC Milan. But
Well, AC Milan, if they're trying to hit the American market,
mm-hmm.
there you go. There's prime example number one. But yeah, no, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing great, man. Like I said, wasn't able to go last night. Seemed like a very great environment despite not having me there. I'm sure that would have made it even better for them.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But what a environment! What a win for the city. I think everything that Columbus has kind of been through, despite it kind of feeling like it's been culminated before in the last time we won the league before this year, and then just winning it again. But just kind of like this whole entire city, I feel like, has just came around to this team, and it's kind of been repaid back in the performances, and they just keep on going. We'll see if we can win, because we have the Champions Cup here in middle September. So let's see if the crew can get 3 cups 1 year. That'd be
sick,
3
man.
more than I've seen Tottenham win.
Yeah, and I think Tottenham should start taking notes. Maybe look at a certain manager, maybe.
You know what I told you. He can't leave my sights. We're gonna have to like lock him in his office, like slide him some food. We'll whatever food you want. They have that really good taco place right on attached to the stadium.
Okay, well, what's it called?
Canados, I think it is.
Canados?
It's just
Okay.
like a mom and pop taco place. Just slide him whatever he wants from there, whenever he wants it. But you're not allowed to leave Columbus Crew headquarters ever again. He's such a great manager.
You know what? Yeah. Even so, let's say this hypothetically: Ange gets sacked. I don't want him to get sacked. I don't think you want him to get sacked either. But
No.
let's say he does. Wilfred Nancy is in the short list of managers. Would you want him at Spurs, or do you think that's too big of a jump?
I think that'd be too big of a jump. He's like French natively. I think that will be his next move. Will be to lower mid-table Ligue 1 club. Once he leaves Columbus, I think right now this team still has a good shelf life. I think they actually want to try to compete and beat out Miami and Cincinnati, and maybe even make a run at the the CONCACAF Champions Cup again next year.
Right.
But I can't say anything about it. If he wanted to go and take a job, like in all seriousness, he wanted to go and take a job anywhere else that's a step above, you can't be upset. All you can do is really thank him and just hope what he's put in place here can continue to keep moving.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't think MLS has really had this sort of, I guess, soccer played, and obviously in the country or in the league, whatever you want to say.
And at a successful level, because I think some of the coaches try to implement, good ball, but it's kind of taken away by the technical quality of the players. You can't really run good ball when you have 35-year-old orcs and former College of Charleston. No offense to College of Charleston. Sure, you guys have a great soccer program, but you can't be running Hoga Bonita uh, with Division I college soccer
Right.
players.
Right.
But
You know.
he's made it work.
Right. Who's the one guy, the right back that you have? He apparently played for the Canadian futsal team. He had the
The
assist in the first goal. I forgot his name.
Mo Farsi.
Yeah,
Yeah,
apparently he played in the futsal team.
yeah. I didn't know that. Uh, Honestly, it's something that's kind of set up, and I'm sure it's something that we'll mention later on. Just like the development of like wing backs and just kind of how they play the sport now is
Right.
just like, and he's very much in that same line of having higher up, total possession, total attacking. As soon as you get the ball, you're heading forward type of style, and it's been able to work for us so far. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna enjoy it until he goes, but if he goes, he deserves the best.
Yeah. No, I'm happy for you. I'm happy for Columbus. I think after what the ownership put you guys through, flirting with Austin for so long, nah, you guys deserve this for sure. This is literally reaping what you guys have been sowing for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So, nah, man, you guys, I think I don't know. Your main ops for Cincinnati, man, forget about Cincinnati, bro. Like, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? They're trying to be Union 2.0. It's just not going to work out for them. They're going to end up the same way as us, not winning anything. But look, I think Columbus and I guess the long term plan, and I know I'm lagging out a little bit, but I know that the long term plan with Columbus is going to be something. Whew, I don't know why I'm doing that. But what is going on?
It's not good. All right, he probably had to leave and come back around.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but I am back.
I don't either. But you'll be able to just take that out when you
Yeah,
record when you put the video in.
yeah.
We can. I didn't hear what you were saying to start that.
I was just basically saying like Columbus, what their long term project is
Yeah.
something that should be adored and should be, I guess
Mm-hmm.
not copycat, copied or try and do word for word what you guys have done, but some of your youth players, but also not going too heavy onto the youth, spending your money wisely, but also looking at players who you actually need, who are dynamic and aren't just cookie, pieces that you need. Actually, like understanding how the sport works.
Yeah.
That's what Nancy's doing. So yeah, I mean, big up to the Columbus crew. Big up to what's the name of your support group? Your supporters group? Is it Crew Legion or something?
Uh, we have a couple. I think right now it's just kind of like the Nord deck is just like the big supporters area.
The Nord. Yeah.
It used to be because they used to be even closer to my house where they are now. They're actually probably about 15 minutes away, but they used to live like 2 exits off the freeway from me, where
Oh
the
wow.
old stadium is.
Right.
And it would be off of Hudson Street if you're from the Columbus area. You know what I'm talking about. And they'd be called like the Hudson Street Hooligans.
Okay.
So, but it's just kind of like the crew supporters union. It's
Sure.
uh, can't really do much there when the nickname could have already been the Columbus Crew, and you make it the Columbus Crew.
Right.
If it was just Columbus SC, they probably could have called the fans the Columbus Crew.
Right. Right.
Uh, but I think like I said, I think touching on that, I think we could go right into another young manager who took down a certain Manchester club on Saturday. If you want to talk on the most obvious result that everyone still seemed to be surprised about, everyone on this pod had it right.
Yeah. You're right. Everyone on this pod did get it right. We are dancing on Ten Hag's grave today. Not just today either. We're gonna be doing that for the whole week. But no, bro. I think what we were talking about last week, and what you said about Danny Welbeck and having respect put on his name, I think it's really not far fetched now. I think after that performance, I think what you're talking about him being potentially called up for England, that should be a legit conversation. Van Heck, and usually, I know for a while, especially last year, we were kind of, you know, trolling him for being not the greatest center back. I think he's grown a lot. So don't understand how John Mario still scores goals, but he's still a decent striker for them as
Pedro,
well.
Joao Pedro.
Yeah, Joao Pedro.
Yeah,
Did I say
Joao
John Mario?
Mario, I think
My
he's a right
goodness.
back.
No, that's that dude who used to play for AC Milan, or not AC Milan, Milan,
Okay, okay,
Benfica. He's like a striker, center
okay.
forward, or whatever. He's like bald.
I mean, the amount of Joaos they have, like that's just like Portuguese. That's Portuguese like heritage.
Yeah,
You know.
or just the fleece market. All
Oh,
they
one
do is
hundred
just
percent.
fleece people. But
But
yeah, I
hey,
can't believe I said that.
it worked for them. It worked for them on Saturday.
Right.
The only people who got fleeced, United, they fleeced United from 3 points.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
did.
I know who that is.
Yeah. Joel, yeah, I'm an idiot for saying that. But
You're fine.
yeah, no, Brighton. I mean, I know we predicted because once again they had a lot of question marks going into the season. New manager, young manager, players kind of leaving and not really replacing them. What are they going to do as well as they did last year and the year prior? Qualifying for Europa League. But I mean, look, it's 2 games in. A lot of things can happen between then, especially in that Christmas period. But I think for now, what they're showcasing, decent team. I mean, I don't know what you thought about Brighton before we slandered Man United, but
No. The first thing I want to touch on, and I didn't know this before someone posted it somewhere. Uh, Herzler, uh, when he was a Bayern Youth Academy player, and when Ten Hag was the head of Bayern 2, he like transferred him out.
oh snap!
So we should have known this was. If I would have known that, I would have been like, okay, even more than it already was. Generational revenge game. You didn't trust me, so now I'm going to absolutely tactically annihilate you. Uh, you know. But just for Brighton, I mean, everything about Brighton, I think they're kind of the standard of how a smaller size club should operate.
Right?
Everything they do seems so calculated. They feel, despite the league, I think getting better and better with transfers. Like there's rarely a, absolute transfer flop anymore. If it's anyone like an Antony or a, Mikhailo Mudryk, where you're just betting on talents anyways. They still feel like they're 3 or 4 steps ahead of everyone in the league in finding talent and then developing the talent and then shipping the talent off for a ridiculous amount with 6 guys coming in behind them that end up being better.
Yeah. I mean, and also the players that they sell, they somehow get worse. And I know we talked about that in the preview of the season, but just this what machine that they have going on, and how they just somehow, some way find these guys, and they somehow just continue to get better. And it's not like they play like trash soccer either. It's not like they're just playing defensively. They're actually like playing expansive footy,
Mm-hmm.
um, passing the ball well.
Yeah. And I mean,
Um,
if as a Manchester City fan, they give you guys fits sometimes,
yeah,
and they give everyone in the league uh, their best punch.
right.
So as much as I kind of am annoyed by Brighton, just because of it is a annoyance out of respect for what they do.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
but a
Absolutely.
different team that annoys me by how bad they are was on the
Does
other
it annoy
side of
you?
the pitch.
Does it annoy you?
It annoys me. Their fans annoy me because they don't realize how bad they are. They don't realize the situation. They're stuck in 2006, and I hate to break it to you, it's not 2006 anymore. You know, uh, with not flip phones. Shaq's still not in Miami. And and Manchester United are not what they used to be.
Bro, Mince is dropping facts, bombs, and whatever you want to name just on everybody, bro. United. Oh my goodness. Like
This is your victory lap. I'm sure this, like, as much as you want it to be Arsenal, it also being United. I'm sure that felt great waking up to that on Saturday.
bro, cuz it like they barely beat um
Fulham.
yeah, Fulham in the week, and they felt like they were going to be this great team.
Hmm.
Oh, we have Xerxes, you know what I'm saying? Bruno, he's gonna do his thing. We have Kobe Manu, you know what I'm saying? We have the Butcher. They always do this every single year, and they
The
end up doing the
butcher.
same thing every single season. I just don't understand why these like the fans and oh yeah, they also say this as well. Oh, Ineos, they took your seat, your chief financial officer. You know what I'm saying? We're coming different. We're signing these great ballers, bro. I haven't heard of Mazraoui ever. Like, you know what I'm saying? When did he go to Bayern?
He was out of the Bayern team in 2 years.
Bro, like, come on. Like, no one's heard of him ever since. Because, I mean, Kimmich has been playing right back. And then, who's playing right back for them now? Um,
Just in general, when I said when we were talking about the team before the year, and they were hyping up Delict and they were hyping up Mazarawi, if those two guys were so important to Bayern Munich would not let them go. Like you've seen the stranglehold they had on a guy like David Alaba, where they literally had him wrapped up for like 10 years, and they're like, "You're going nowhere." Like if a player is, or like Thomas Mueller, it took Lewandowski to kind of go like, I don't want to come back because of how you treated the Haaland situation.
right.
Like it took that for even him to be able to go, where he was just like, I refuse to play for the team anymore. If Bayern Munich thinks you're an important part of their team, they're not letting you go.
Yeah.
So to get two guys that a Bayern team that wasn't good last year, I mean that was like for Bayern standards. To get two of the like least important players from that team, and you're celebrating it like you're getting like prime Maldini, and like yeah, like you're it's not gonna work. That like when Luke Shaw comes back in, does Mazarawi play over Diego Dallo? The answer is no.
Hell no.
Well, the answer better be no. I can't tell you it's going to be no, but the answer
If
better be no.
if he plays, that's literally like interesting. When Ten Hag says, "Oh, I don't have the players to play the way they want to play," uh, uh, bro, he's shooting
How do
himself in
you
the foot.
not at this point?
Right. You spent more
Like
money than Man City.
this is window what 5 for him?
Yes.
You don't have the players to play the way you want to after window 5, and every single guy feels like a used signing because they end up Dutch, Dutch league, or Dutch and the Dutch league, and the players who aren't are Real Madrid players.
Right.
You can't get Casemiro to play the way you want to play. You can't get Varane to play the way it's theater of the mind. Because they used to call it the theater of dreams. It's
Yep.
theater of the mind trying to comprehend anything going on
Yeah.
at Manchester United.
I mean, it's bad when Chelsea looks more clearer now
I
than
will
Man
say
United.
this, because I wanted to be, we are being mean to their new signings. I just really want to say that was a really good save off the goal line by Xerxes.
Yeah.
Because Garnacho almost put that goal in. But if
Hmm.
Xerxes didn't get his knee there, to knock it in, call it off sides, United would have scored.
Yeah.
So what a goal! What a save off the goal line by Xerxes to
But
let everyone
what a
else be
player.
happy.
What a player. I mean, defensive player of the year just right there, you know? Put him up there. Put him up
Yeah,
there.
put him at center back. Obviously, like the way he can just knock the offside trap, just
Right.
doesn't read it at all.
Come on, man. I mean, look, and
Perfect
you also
play.
got one of the greatest people who think they can play goalkeeper, but probably is a center mid or a striker at this point. Onana, you know, saying like, bro, just put him up top too. Like, let's do a flip flop, you know?
Nana. It's honestly, I don't think there's ever been a keeper, maybe outside of Hugo Lloris, in my own sense, because they both kind of like whenever they get beat, they just don't even like attempt to like act like they were gonna like go after the ball.
Right.
Like Joao Pedro hits that header. Onana can't get there, but it's like the 91st minute, so you at least expect the goalie to like try to dive at it. He just like flat footed, which is
Yeah.
crazy for a guy who's supposed to be so technically gifted that he's
Right.
always found flat footed.
the ball was already past him, and he tried like those little to make it seem like he was trying like the little
Yes.
dive at the end, bro. That yeah,
No, no. My favorite one I saw was in the Community Shield where he gave Haaland all of that netting, and Haaland
yeah,
still beat him on that side.
yeah.
Hey, also,
Bro, I just love when Man United just prove people right every single time, except for
do
their own
do we
fans.
remember Mason Mount existed?
I,
Because
I
all week I heard Mason Mount's coming back. What a player! And he got hooked after 45 minutes.
what does Lee Gunner say?
A
Generational
stinker
stinker
and
and hooked.
hooked. The pod wasn't on during my prime Mason Mount hating days, dude. I
Oh man,
that'd make Mudryk feel like he's like Mickey Van de Ven to me. You know, the way I hate on Mason Mount. Awful
bro,
footballer. You cannot have him and Bruno in the same team. You can't have Mason Mount on a Premier League team anymore. He's
bro. I always called him this even when he won the Champions League. He is the white Jesse Lingard, bro.
that's. I'm gonna tell you. Do not disrespect my boy Jesse Lingard.
Oh snap,
Jesse Lingard went to West Ham and
he did
absolutely
cook.
revolutionized. Like Mason, I dare Mason Mount to go to like uh who'd be like Bournemouth on
Yeah,
loan and take Bournemouth to take Bournemouth to Europe just by his presence alone.
I forgot about that COVID ball. COVID Lingard was different, bro.
COVID Lingard had a super league created to stop him.
Literally,
They were like, we can't deal with COVID. We can't deal with this Jesse Lingard fella anymore. We're
bro.
gonna just have to build a league to ourselves so we don't get like Millie rocked on. You know?
You know the flute that he does.
Yeah, the flute. He
Nah,
did the
my
flute, and
apologies.
Declan Rice pretended to know how to play drums. That was one of my favorite ones.
And then the
but,
Cheelings.
uh,
Nah,
but
my
just back on
apologies.
topic.
Yeah,
Awful
yeah.
Manchester United team. Awful performance. I believe they play Liverpool this weekend.
Oh, they're
What
gonna get
what?
absolutely annihilated. It doesn't. I don't even need to go into in depth breakdown or whatever, bro. It's gonna be bad.
Oh, you're not interested to see Salah versus Mazraoui? That's not
Oh
something
yeah,
that you know.
my fault. I forgot. They have one of the best right backs in the league now.
Yeah,
I forgot.
yeah,
I forgot. It's gonna
yeah,
be a challenge for. All right, bro.
yeah.
Next,
Diego Jota is like starving himself right now. That way he can eat. He can eat everything next Sunday.
that might be a triple captain.
That might have to be a triple cap play. That
Yeah,
100 hit Salah maybe
yeah.
because Salah's just waiting to feast on that.
I think yeah that Liverpool and also I mean I guess we transition to that game as well. Um, and I know we're getting out of order, but
There's no order. We're just
yeah, just yapping, yap
yeah.
central. Um, but yeah, no, that Liverpool Brentford game was very interesting, and I know I'm not going to talk about this too much, but I know people are criticizing the crowd. Um, I mean, come on, that game was as comfortable as it needed to be for Liverpool. Like, if you expect them to be singing like 100% of the time, like, come on, bro. Literally, they were just chilling. But no, I saw. I think you saw. I mean, I'm pretty sure you saw this as well. But they had a stat where they I think they completed 92% of their passes throughout the whole entire match. That's wild to me. Like to me, that's like day and night
Mm-hmm.
from how Klopp used to play, where it wasn't really about passing and controls, more so just like pressing and gaining territorial advantage. You know, being higher
Mm-hmm.
up on the pitch, locking them in, just creating chances that way. But the way that they're playing now is like it's great to watch. You know,
Yeah. I mean, I remember him talking about that where he's just like, I want death by possession. You know, they want to keep the ball and just like keep the ball. Uh, and like you said, they had 62% possession. 92% pass completion. I mean, it's match two, and it feels like, and while Brentford's a good side, uh, but to already kind of feel like they already had this system in where they're just kind of like strangling their opponents. I mean, that's something that I didn't expect to see this quickly, and I
Hmm.
think that kind of changes. 2 weeks through, I think they've probably been one of the more impressive sides so far in the league.
I agree. That's definitely a good point. And obviously with with having a new manager in, especially from when your old manager's been there for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you expect there to be like some type of drop off, but it doesn't even seem like that. Like obviously, like they say the new manager bounce is what this I guess is what the term is, but there really
Mm-hmm.
isn't. There really isn't one. Like there really isn't a bounce. Like there
Yeah.
isn't like a drag. Like I don't think it's a new manager bounce. I just more so think it's the players actually adapting, and also I'm not saying that the way that Klopp played didn't match the players, but I think they could have played better football. And I think now that they actually have the manager who wants to play that possession style, um, I think it fits them better. Especially with Salah getting older, like he can't press the way they used to press. Jota
Mm-hmm.
can do that though. Diaz can do that though. So he can be, he can just chill for a little bit. But they have, and obviously like Curtis Jones and Gravenberch and all those midfielders as well. I think that fits them. That fits the way
Yeah.
that they played as well.
I think his development is Gravenberch is the most important of anyone on the team.
Yeah,
I mean, I think they kind of, because they missed out on Caicedo, they missed out on Lavia. So to have that guy to like develop as their six, especially on that side of the pitch, because he kind of has to deal with Trent going high and also Salah really not coming back. He has to like really be focused, or that left side could definitely, well, that right side, my apologies,
yeah.
could be, you know, open a little bit more. But he's just been magnificent from everything I've seen so far.
Hmm.
Uh,
Another player as well that I didn't really expect to be balling out. Well, not that I didn't expect him to be balling out, but I expect to struggle a little bit. Was I thought it was going to be Robertson, since he's
mm-hmm,
really not known to to being the best, most I guess the most technical player in the world.
mm-hmm,
But I think he's playing pretty well.
yeah,
It's sort of like a resurgence, but in a different kind of way. He's showing his patient side now.
mm-hmm,
Um, I think that's scary.
yeah,
you
and
know,
and I think another thing, and I could say this about Diaz too, because there's just like a lot of like talk of like, are these guys that need replaced in this new system? I think there's this kind of this feeling right now of like proving themselves to the manager in the right way, you know. Uh, Whereas it kind of feels like the club we just spoke about, United, last time, they're just not really like putting in. I think there's kind of a knowing that Ten Hag just doesn't really have the dressing room, but
right?
there was just really no one out there to like get him and or like to replace above him. So they kind of had to like wait on Ten Hag. They couldn't really sack him and report. Like couldn't appoint like Kieran McKenna. That'd been an absolute disaster for them. Uh, so but Liverpool look great so far, and I think we could both agree on that. And that they're heavy favorites to
Hmm.
go into the derby this weekend.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I'm not sure if you can hear me or not, but um, all right. I don't know why I just keep lagging out, but I
Yeah,
did hear what you said to finish that.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I definitely agree. Liverpool, they're going to be a dangerous team. They might be challenging for the title this year. No disrespect, because I know Ty did say Liverpool will win the league, which I mean, we're also talking about Man City here as well. If he's saying
hmm
Liverpool will win the league, but they are going to be in the whereabouts.
yeah. I just based off how they started the season, I think I predicted them third. I think you also predicted them third.
Hmm.
But I think that we kind of felt like there was going to be, you know, Arsenal, City, and then a gap. And I think if Liverpool keep on putting in performances like that, that gap's not going to be as big as we both kind of thought it would be.
Yeah, absolutely,
All right, so
absolutely.
do you want to touch on who do you want to touch on next? I think we should leave our teams for last. So do you want to go Chelsea or Arsenal?
I think we could talk about the Chelsea game.
Yeah, I kind of have to eat crow here
Yeah.
because I went with the draw. I think everyone else went with a Chelsea win.
Hmm.
Uh, I think obviously great performance. I think honestly the way to go now is just uh, have Noni Madueke hate every city he goes to. He's got to hate every city, and then you have to overperform your XG by like 4.5 goals.
Right.
If you can overperform your XG by about 4.5 goals, Chelsea, I promise you, you're going to win a lot of games this year.
I mean, I would
And
hope so.
that's just kind of me trolling. Uh, but I think they came out in the second half and something kind of clicked there. In the first half, they just really didn't look that good. Uh, but in that second half, something kind of clicked there. And I think honestly, I think it's just like as we already knew, this team's just going to go as far as Cole Palmer takes them.
I mean, you couldn't say any better than that. He's the leader of the team.
Mm-hmm.
How old is he? 23, 22?
I believe he's
Yeah.
23 now.
Yeah, so you got a young Cole Palmer. He's shown that he can play at the level that he can. I was impressed with Madueke's performance, even though I think what you said about the location thing was mad funny. Um, I can understand why. I guess you mess up if you didn't post it on your close friends or whatever.
It's a Basuma thing, like we
Yeah,
talked about before on the pod. Sometimes you think stuff's getting sent to like one person, and it's not. I think these Premier League teams need to start teaching like some social media etiquette courses again
yeah,
because it was good there for a while, and now like over the last like week or two, it's kind of just like slipped back off. I think we need to teach our athletes again how to behave on the Twitter, on the Snapchat, on Instagram.
right. Yeah, I think that may have to happen. That may have to happen. Um, yeah, but I mean, that post could have gone left or right, and it went right for it with
Mm-hmm.
Madueke. I thought those three goals that he took though were really good. Like the way he took the touch, the first touch and slotted it, into the corner. Palmer obviously did a great job, finding him, especially in that inside position. Like when he plays in that cam position, like the number 10 position, that's where he's most dangerous. Like where he played against Man City on the right wing, he wasn't really like he didn't really hear his name that much. But when he's
Yeah.
involved with the flow of play, and also Wolves, I'm not gonna lie, Wolves suck, bro.
That didn't look good. I think that's the nicest way I could put that. Uh, yeah, but I mean, I know a couple Wolves people. Like they just really haven't reinvested in the squad ever. I mean, if they have, it's kind of like guys like Huang Hee Chan, which were kind of just like swings from left field that worked,
Right.
and like just like Portuguese guys that uh, they had through their connections. So honestly, I think the trouble we thought Wolves were going to have last year, where everyone was like, "Is Wolves going to be able to stay up?" and they kind of stayed up comfortably. Uh, I think this year's actually where they're going to have those troubles
Mm-hmm.
because they didn't look good against a side in Chelsea who have kind of just been unstable themselves. Uh, I kind of want to touch on Maresca real quick
Yeah.
because, like I said, there's stuff with him I worry about, but I have noticed his willingness to kind of like learn from these performances, just like kind of how you talked with Palmer. He's already moved Palmer on the inside where in the middle where he's best. And his like willingness to go like I didn't like what I saw from Chilwell, I didn't like what I saw from Sterling, and now the change on Mudryk where he was willing to pull Mudryk like 45 minutes into the game, and then after the game was like, I just expect better from him, so that's why I pulled him.
Yeah.
Uh, I think if he's going to succeed at Chelsea, He's going to have to be able to be ruthless, and that only works if you're winning, because you can't really go out into the public and say, you know, this guy's just not performing well in a loss. That's what Ten Hag was trying to do. Ten Hag
Right.
was trying to make a scapegoat out of Sancho,
Yep.
and then Sancho went to a Champions League final, and everyone's like, "Wait, hold on, I don't think this guy knows what he's talking about anymore. Sancho's the problem." I guess Sancho only trains well when he's in a Dortmund kit,
Right.
you
Right.
know. So that only works while while everything's cooking,
Right.
and in a in this situation, I think they had a really good performance, and at least a really good 45 minutes, and I think that's something interesting to see if they can build on that going forward.
No, I think you're spot on with Maresca. No, and obviously, he wasn't the assistant manager, but he was the assistant coach for Pep. Um, during the treble run. Um, and obviously with Leicester, he brought him back. Brought him back to the Prem. He's the type of guy you can just tell. He if he wants to do something, he will do it. Doesn't even think twice on it.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, okay, this is what comes up. I'm going to do it. That's going to be great for Chelsea moving forward, because if they continue to grow, right, and if they actually, if Bowley decides to trust Maresca and not just managing these players, but potentially challenging for titles, getting back to where Chelsea was before he took over the team. He's honestly the right guy. Pochettino, he wasn't the right guy just because he kind of just saw every negative and just harped on that. He's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, like this is happening. I can't do this. I can't do that. Versus Maresca is sort of just like, okay, you're not gonna do your job. I got another guy
Yeah,
right here.
and
So
that's the benefit in this case of having like 45 players.
right,
Because like
exactly.
if one goalie isn't working, like all right, we'll see how these other six do in the next 6 games, and then I'll pick the one I like the most.
Yeah.
But
No, that's what happens when you have a $2 billion squad. No, you're right.
yeah, uh,
You're right.
I was wondering because I was just thinking about it this week, just kind of preparing for the pod. If this system works for Chelsea and they end up just becoming like an absolute machine based off of this, would it be better for the league overall for this system to work or for this system to not work? Where they've kind of just like ate it for like 2 or 3 years, knowing that maybe they could have had like 5 or 6 years of just absolute dominance.
I
Like,
think I think how they structured everything, like even from the contracts, right? Signing these
mm-hmm,
guys to long, long contracts, but they're on very low wages for their,
mm-hmm,
for the level of player that they're trying to get. I don't think that should be frowned upon. I think that should be encouraged. I think it's something outside the box that was never been seen before. It's very baseball esque, and I keep using that
yeah,
with Bowley. But you see these players in baseball get these long 15, 20, 15-year contracts. Like Chelsea players are getting 8-year contracts, 7-year contracts, 9-year contracts, 10-year contracts. Like to me, that should be the norm. No, not the norm, but if you're trying to build something up and you actually
yeah,
trust the plan, that should be the mindset. That should be the
yeah.
approach.
And I think that takes a certain type of player too.
Right.
Because I think that can really only work at a Big Six club, because if you have a young prospect like that, like the talents that they've gotten in guys like Lavia's not signing a 9 year deal with Southampton.
Right.
You know, uh, but it takes a certain kind of setup. But I just think it'll be interesting to see in the future if this works. Or if it doesn't work, what are the repercussions of this Chelsea project? Because
Mm,
I think we could both agree, if anything, it's just like completely off the wall.
yeah. Yeah, it's wild. The amount of people that they brought in a short amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, if I honestly don't think they're doing anything illegal, it's just very absurd what they're doing.
Well, I don't think it's anything illegal, but just kind of like it feels contrary to kind of like how the Prems worked, where it's just like we're gonna bring these guys in from other clubs. They're just like a bunch of really talented youngsters. We're gonna put them on 8 or 9 year deals, while simultaneously just like willingly getting rid of academy prospects, and then just using that pure profit to balance out signing like if they got 45 from Gallagher,
Hmm.
they can get, you know, 9 years of a guy
Yeah,
out of that for like, the amount of money. Uh so they're just like selling off, and I think they've honestly done a great job of selling players, because whoever spent 60 million on Mason Mount, you know, you kind of get what you deserve there. Uh
right.
so
Yeah,
that's been to Chelsea's benefit. I think they've done a good job of selling. Uh and you're saying before, I don't know if that was on the pod or before when we were talking. You think they have some like upward potential to contend this year?
I think so. I mean, and I know we're trashing Chelsea on their, I guess, their approach in terms of not actually having like a plan, but I think they have a plan. It's just not the plan that people are used to seeing. And I'm not saying this to be flippy floppy. I think I'm actually trying to. I think I actually understand what they're trying to do. Um, I think they could make top four. I honestly do think that because for me, it's solidified Arsenal, City, Liverpool, right? And not in that order, obviously, but I think those three teams will for sure be in Champions League.
Mm-hmm.
That fourth position, bro, it's very iffy because Aston Villa they could fall off, right? Man United they could be there, they could not be there, right? Spurs they could be there, they could not be there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Newcastle's going to be there.
Yeah.
Who does that leave?
Mm-hmm.
Like I think Chelsea legit have a real chance. So I think, and also don't forget about the winter window for them as well. They may bring in somebody crazy, and we don't even know who it's
Yeah.
going to be.
It seems like they wanted to improve. I think it'd be ridiculous knowing how Chelsea have gone to say that I think they're done with their business, despite there only being a week left in the window. Uh, and I think striker is somewhere that they're still trying to touch. I think whether it's a guy to compete with Jackson, or just kind of like usurp Jackson now until Jackson's ready. Uh, I think Chelsea's still probably the most interesting team to watch in the window, because I think a lot of teams probably already have their business done, but
Yeah,
Chelsea will still try to push through a couple incomings and outgoings.
I don't know why Chelsea hasn't tried, and they probably will at some point. Madueke on the right, and Kunku up top, Neto on the left. I don't think Jackson. I think Jackson might be one of those players that they just brought in, and he's just gonna be sold, bro. Like I just don't think he has a future at the club
Mm-hmm.
in terms of getting him to the next level. I don't think
Yeah,
his potential is that
I mean
high.
the pressure on the nines at this level. Like I think he's a Premier League guy. I just can't say he honestly feels a lot like Nketiah to me, where like you obviously see the potential, and he'll have like a few moments of brilliance where you're like, okay, this guy might actually be able to lead the line for like a big six club.
Hmm.
And then the next game he'll just like he'll have like 3 touches, and all of them are from like kickoffs. And then he'll never touch the ball for the rest of the game. He can easily get filtered out of games. Uh so I think striker is somewhere that I'd be interested to see them go. They also have Europe, even though I think the Conference League will give them enough room to, if they want to play a B team side, they'll be able to make it pretty far still with a B team side. You, any more you want to touch on really either team?
Wolves, they got to get their stuff
Yeah,
together, bro.
Wolves need a come to Jesus moment, for
Yeah,
lack of a better term. Uh, so the game of the weekend in terms of like pre-game hype was Arsenal and Aston Villa. And another eat crow moment for us, because neither one of us like Arsenal, but they got the job done at their bogey ground. Villa Park's
yeah.
been the fortress for them. Unai Emery's been the soul haunting Arsenal's spirits for the last half decade, and it honestly kind of felt like they, they kind of like conquered that beast there.
They
Uh,
did. I
and
mean,
honestly, the first player I want to talk about for them was David Raya, because
mm,
that was the best performance I think he's put on in an Arsenal kit. He won the Golden Glove last year, but everyone was kind of feeling like, that felt like a Mickey Mouse Golden Glove just because of how good his back four was. But I mean, this was the first time I've seen him, and I was like, wow, this dude was just an absolute wall today.
bro. I
Uh,
mean, I know Andy in the chat. He did say that he's gonna be the best, goalkeeper by the end of the season. And I jokingly put the taking notes gif, um, just because
mm-hmm.
I think Man City's gonna win the league. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't put that in the predictions for I was playing mind games if I'm being real, right?
No,
Actually,
Arsenal's winning
cut
the
that
league,
out.
right, buddy?
Cut that out. My fault. My
But yeah,
fault.
best
Arsenal
goalie,
has the best goalkeeper in the
best
league.
goalie, best defenders, best midfielders, best attackers
Yes.
by a mile. I don't even
Yeah.
know why anyone else is trying, including the team that's won for the last 4 years.
Yeah. My fault. Yeah. Cut that all out. Hopefully that
Yeah.
part lagged out and that was just never heard.
Well, that's
So
that's your job. That's your job to cut that out.
yeah, that won't be that won't be ever heard. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, Raya, that save was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That was wild. Like, because he didn't save the first one, right? Or did he tip it
The
onto the bar?
first one, I think deflected up off the bar,
Right.
or yeah. Well, huh. I think he touched it and it deflected up off the bar back to Watkins. Watkins heads it,
And he saved
and
that.
Raya saves it out,
My goodness. So he had a double
which
save.
wasn't a good thing for me because I had Ollie Watkins in my FPL.
Yeah.
Uh, so that was double painful to me. Uh, but
He
you
fumbled
know,
the bag.
yeah, all seriousness, it was a great shift from him. Uh, they got Moreno through the door. I don't think Moreno was through the door when we last talked on Thursday.
No.
So I think they're definitely going to be making that push here. I think anything else you really think they're going to do in the window? Because I think we should just talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, well, before we get there, we have a comment from
Okay.
Bills One Twitch, and it says, "What do you think of Tottenham?"
What do I think of Tottenham? Ask me. Uh, it depends on the day. So on most days, good. On game day, what you probably also think of Tottenham. I
Yeah,
think is the best way to put that. Uh, and we'll touch on Tottenham here because we'll touch on both of our teams probably last to go with this.
right.
Uh,
Yeah, Bills. I'm sorry, we don't have. Well, we did have an Arsenal fan that usually pops up on here, but he is not here today. So that comment would have been absolutely crazy if he was here.
yes. Uh
But
huh.
Um, yeah, unfortunately, that's just not going to happen today because I don't have any bias towards Spurs. Actually, Spurs helped us win the league last year, so I think Tottenham are great. I think
Yeah.
they're a great club.
Uh, speaking of great, I thought, just to touch on Villa for a second, I thought Morgan Rogers was incredible. I
Yeah,
think for that, at least that first like 50, 60 minutes, I mean, he had the 100 million pound man in his pocket. I mean,
yeah,
Declan Rice was chasing shadows trying to get around Morgan Rogers. Uh,
bro.
so
He absolutely because I know he came from the city. No, he didn't really come from the city academy. We like how we do sometimes. We buy a player, then they graduate from our academy, then we sell them off.
hmm
He was one of those players. Why? I mean, I'm not saying this because it's hindsight. I mean, the reason why we let him go is because he's not getting past De Bruyne in the depth chart. He's not getting past Foden on the depth chart either. Nor is he getting past who was at the club at the time. I think it was like Gundogan.
Bernardo Silva, he's not
Right,
beating out of Bernardo
bro.
Silva.
He's
You
just
know,
not. So they have to leave. Palmer had to leave. He has to leave. Um,
you're suffering from success.
yeah. Like
You know,
I sound like I sound like a spoiled kid right now. But he had
yes.
to go. But
Uh huh.
he had party chasing shadows, bro.
Oh, one
That
hundred
one
percent.
clip where he no, he bullied him what twice, 3 times.
Yeah, the one time I think he actually had him like tripping over his own feet.
Bro. That was.
Uh, he had that really good setup to Watkins, and Watkins just didn't have his finishing boots in that first half.
Right.
Well, he hasn't had his finishing boots at all to start the season, but especially on that shot there where last year's Watkins slots that in, and it's like 1-0 early, and who knows where the game goes there. Uh,
Right.
but I mean, like I said, Arsenal handled it well. They're playing right now like a team that really knows what they want from this year, and they know, hey, if we want to beat City, we're going to have to be as perfect as we can be.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
this was, I think, one of the places that they had that circled. Like we need to be able to be perfect. By the way, 7:30 on Saturday, Brighton and Arsenal.
Bro, that's
So
yo.
to headline a great week. I don't know if you've looked ahead a little bit to match week 3. Match week 3 has some incredible fixtures.
I did. And
Uh,
I'm excited, bro. I think this is gonna be and it's crazy how all these games are happening so early
mm-hmm.
in the season. Um yeah, I mean I'm just looking at West Ham City. Um
Yeah, we got
Fulham
Arsenal,
Ipswich.
Brighton, West Ham City. Tottenham are going to get destroyed at St. James's Park,
Nah.
and then United and Liverpool.
Well, yeah, that is your bogey team, isn't it?
St. James, well, going to St. James's is kind of how uh, that's kind of how it's been for Arsenal going to Villa. But instead of losing like 2-0, we're down 2-0 3 minutes into the game.
Right.
Uh, so I mean, we could probably use this to switch on Tottenham now. Uh, because the game, it kind of felt like before the year that we really like may have took for granted, I think became such an important win, and we were able to get it done, beating Everton.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I think just I was more happy that we got a clean sheet because we usually don't get a lot of those with this system.
Yeah.
But Everton, we'll start with them first. Everton looked miserable.
Yeah. No, so before we get to Everton, I had a couple of questions come through from Bills again. He
Okay,
did say nice answer for you.
okay.
Um but he says, Mr. 115, do you think Cole Palmer would start if Pep never sold him? Or do you think he wouldn't be as good if he stayed at City? That's honestly a great question.
That's a great question.
I think I don't think he would be reaching the potential that he would be, at Chelsea right now. I think just because of the sheer importance that he has for Chelsea. I think with how like where he played for Man City was on the right wing, and you saw what he did for Chelsea when he played on the right wing. He wasn't really as influential on the game as he would have been down the middle. And obviously, like I was saying for Morgan Rogers, it applies the same way with Cole Palmer in terms of he's not beating out De Bruyne. The only time he'll play down the middle in a Man City game would probably be in the FA Cup in a Champions League match where we don't necessarily need to play, our starters, or it'll be in a Carabao Cup match anyway. Um, so yeah, I don't think Palmer will be starting, and that's crazy to me because I mean, as an academy graduate, I would love to him to be starting alongside Phil Foden, but with who we already have at the club and who we're, I guess, who we're transcending to be in the future, he just was never going to play.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, back to Everton. I think Everton. I don't know. Who do they play again? They play.
This next weekend,
Yeah, they play Bournemouth.
I thought
Yeah, I
Chelsea
just saw
played
that.
Bournemouth.
Uh, so
They who does Chelsea play them? My apologies. Oh, they play Palace. Okay.
which is also Palace. I don't know what's going on over there either, but
Uh, talking. I think we talked about with United. They kind of read their own newspaper clippings. Palace 100% read their own newspaper clippings to start the year because I don't know what's going on there.
right.
Uh, I think it's probably just because their left winger might have wanted to make a move to a certain North London club and it just didn't happen. Uh, and I think we're all disappointed about it. I think Eberici and I on a very similar wavelength, and I think we both love Tottenham so much together that he should end up at my club. Uh,
Look, if Spurs want to play the role of home wrecker, then look, by all means,
they if they wanted to, they would have, and they didn't.
yeah,
But if we play like we did against Everton, which I mean, we're going to get a lot more of a fight from anyone else in the league, I feel like, than we got from Everton. Uh, I think we'll be fine.
yeah. No, I definitely agree. I mean, I don't know. It's interesting going forward because I feel like here's the thing. Not only do like I'm trying to think of Everton's like depth. Jack
They don't
Harrison,
have any. They had Ashley Young got the red card. They're playing Roman Dixon. Roman
my
Dixon
lord,
never made a Premier League appearance before this, and they were like, "Oh, hey, do you want to handle like Heung-min Son today?" It was actually Sonny was in the middle, so it was Odebear, I
mm,
believe. He was on most of the time, but uh, he just you could tell the kid was just like absolutely thrown into like a wolf pit.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. And you know what's funny as well, Nick? Notice how the Maupay tweets have kind of not been seen on the timeline.
there was a lot of Neil Mulpay tweets, but it was people tagging him, asking him if he was going to play today after uh, Everton already made all their substitutions, so everyone knew he wasn't playing today.
Right.
But just a little bit fun back at him. Uh, I don't know what they do, man, because it's not like there's a reason why they're not spending is they can't. They'd much rather play the try to push on with what we got than maybe even take a 3-point hit and spend. Uh, but I mean, like I think you can. There's ways you can lose in the Premier League, and you can't lose like that, especially match week 2.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Sonny had that goal, and I believe it was the 25th minute, and just from then on, it kind of just felt like Tottenham were just like playing against time. Like
Right.
let's just get this over with. Like both teams already 25 minutes in, and Everton already gave up. Like it was. What did Ivan Toney say? It was like a friendly kick around the pitch with the boys or something like that.
Yeah.
That's just what that game ended up becoming.
Literally a
Uh,
training session, bro. That was a
a
free
couple
training
of things,
session.
couple of things I want to touch on for Tottenham.
Yeah.
First off, it was nice to see Basuma get his first goal. That was his first goal for the club.
Hmm.
Uh, he came over immediately, hugged Ange. Uh, so I'm happy for him. Hopefully that kind of it can restart his Tottenham career because it kind of felt like for a minute there. At least I know I felt that way. Liz felt that way. Where it's just kind of like, are we going to need to replace Basuma? And we
Right.
really don't want to. I really would like. My apologies. I'd
No,
really
you good.
like Basuma to just be that guy, so we don't have to already keep adjusting.
Right.
Uh, but the main thing I want to talk about is I don't think there's a better person on earth than Mickey Van de Ven. Uh,
I agree.
the I agree that the takeaway of the ball and to run about 75 yards with the ball and then play it at the that was that's skills that uh like Pereira for Fulham couldn't do that for in that United game in a 2-on-1, and Van de Ven has a guy on his left, a guy on his right, brushes them both off and feeds Sonny at the perfect time.
You're right,
I
bro.
mean, what an absolute player he is. If I could get 11 of him and just put him on the field, I would. Uh, but one of them inevitably would probably hurt their hamstring the way Hanj makes them run. So I probably need about 15 of him. Uh, but what a player! I mean, he's just incredible. Uh,
Bro,
um,
he's
I want
literally
I want to know more your thoughts on the game.
yeah, bro. Van de Ven, bro. He's different, bro. Cause
Incredible player.
like there's not many defenders who are
Mm-hmm.
built that way, So I'll put him in. Here's the thing. I know last year he got a lot of disrespect because Spurs kind of fell off.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't really necessarily his fault.
It
Getting
was it
injured,
was because he wasn't there is
right?
when we fell off.
Literally. So he solidifies a defensive line just because of his speed
Hmm.
and his ability to hawk down attackers, on the front. Um, but yeah, I thought Spurs, what y'all did without Solanke. I'm not saying Solanke is a waste of money, this, that, and the third, because we are not DR Sports. I don't just react like that. I don't think Matt reacts like no Matt. I know no. Isn't that I think I know Matt doesn't react like that either, and we wouldn't just be like, oh, like he hasn't scored a goal and like he's a bust.
Yeah.
For me, the way I see Ange's system is how I see Pep Guardiola's. Unless you're Erling Haaland, you're not gonna be or Jesus for like three or like 2 months or whatever. You're
Hmm.
not gonna be in there just balling out like that. You're gonna be literally just trying to learn, trying to understand how to play. It's a different style than Bournemouth, even though Bournemouth kind of changed the way that they played, last season with Iriola. But he needs to give him time. Like I don't understand why there's such a rush. Like Spurs are in a project type of mindset right now. They're trying to fight in the pieces right now. They have a lot of transition players in terms of trying to get them to that Champions League, sort of solid type of position where it's kind of a guarantee every single year. But yeah, I mean, I think Spurs, that was a great performance. I think that was the type of performance that you guys needed to put in.
Hmm.
Um, you guys needed to do that. You guys needed to show that you guys can, can attack on the front. You guys can, possess the ball. You guys can dominate a team. You guys can press. That needed to be shown. Solanke just needs to understand how to get that going.
Hmm.
Because obviously Son can't be playing up, 9 the whole year. He's just not built like that anymore. Um, but yeah, no, I think this is a good first step. And there, I mean, look, if it's Spurs from last season, you guys can't start too fast and then burn. The candle
Hmm.
just gets blown out. You guys need to have a steady pace. Understand, how to, I guess, how to change tactically and not just be like, oh, like we're just gonna do this and this is who we are. You
Hmm.
guys have to be able to have 2 or 3 different type of cards in your back pocket just in case something
Yeah.
something goes wrong. Um, but overall, I think Spurs put on a magnificent, magnificent, I can't even speak right now. A
Yeah.
magnificent,
It was such a good
performance.
perform. Your
Yeah,
loss of words. There's a
right.
loss of words on your end.
Yeah,
Uh,
man.
one last
Angelo is
thing I wanted.
different.
Yeah, one last thing I wanted to touch on, just like a post game thing. I think the mentality started to shift because if you ask everyone, they're like, we want to win something this year.
Hmm.
And I know you hear that from everybody, but it's just kind of like every single player is kind of harping on, like we need, like it's not even like a one, it's like we need to do something,
Right.
and I think that's been top down. I think Ange is like, Ange kind of threw his name out there where he's like, my second year, I go out there and I win something. So he's kind of put his neck out on the line there. And I think the players are bought in. It's 2 weeks into the season, so I'm not going to say something stupid like Tottenham are going to compete to win the Prem because I don't think we're there yet. I think we both kind of agree Spurs are probably 2, 3 windows away from
Yeah.
competing at a top level. But I think the Europa League, I think the cup competitions, I think that's somewhere where Spurs are going to take that seriously this year. And I think for
Mhm.
the first time we have some good depth in positions we need. I think maybe if they can in the next week, I think left back is somewhere to just in case you have some cover for Destiny Udogi. Uh, Maybe even a guy with a quality enough to kind of challenge him for that. It's not bad to have guys that are good enough to challenge one another. Uh,
Right.
if the challenge is a healthy competition. Uh, but yeah, I think that was kind of the win we needed to get the bad taste out of our mouths from Monday because I had a completely different tone with this team last Monday,
Yeah.
and I'm happy. I'm happy this is the tone I can have with this team this week.
Right. Right. Um, Bills one Twitch once again. Thank you for sending in your question. He actually has 2 questions. Where do you see Spurs and City finishing the season? Um, I think where do we put him at? I think I put him what, sixth
I
or
think you
fifth?
had them sixth and City second, and then I went one up on each. I had Spurs fifth and City first.
Yes.
So pretty much about where they both were last year. I think Tottenham's. Uh, I think the Tottenham team will be better, but I just think Tottenham also has to deal with Europe this year,
Hmm.
and City has other outside forces that they have to deal with, as you can see on the shirt in the background. Uh, they have some other extraneous stuff that they have to deal with.
Yeah.
Uh, but I think about where both teams were last year. City's obviously contending for the league. Tottenham is probably in the best of the rest in that group. I don't think they are the best of the rest, but just the that best of the rest tier outside of competing for the league.
Hmm. And then how many goals you got Haaland scoring this season?
What's he on already? Does he already have four?
Yeah, because he scored one. Yeah, he's on four right now.
Yeah, he's on four right now. I think I'll go. I'll go 32.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 35.
Yeah, I was gonna go 35, but I feel like second half of the year you're going to want to push for the Champions League. He's going to rest some more. He won't play 90 minutes in every game.
Right.
But that doesn't mean anything. He had a hat trick. He had a hat trick in like 20 minutes. It felt like.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, with Holland though, like obviously he hasn't really played anybody like Arsenal, and that's coming up soon. West Ham, he usually has a good time with. I mean, I know they have Mavropanos and
well, they have Kilman now, so they at least
yeah,
have a bigger guy.
right.
You know.
But here's the thing, Doku. If Sufal is playing, I'm not sure if you've seen this agenda on Doku about if the player is over some, like I think it's like 27 years old or
Yeah,
25, he has a great day.
that's probably why Pep starts him is because he just always cooks Kyle Walker in in training, and Pep's like, "Oh, this guy's magnificent."
Oh,
Uh,
Doku,
the
magnificent.
way he cooks Kyle Walker is that that's an accomplishment anymore. It feels like that's just kind of sadly the norm with Kyle Walker anymore. Uh, but just kind of going into City, you know, I don't think we were going to learn much from the Ipswich game. I just want to know what was your thought going 1-0 down. Like I wanted to know your thoughts, and then your thoughts like 10 minutes later when it was already 3-0. I mean
Yeah.
three
So
one, and you're like, all right, we're fine.
right. I mean, you saw the group chat what I said as soon as the
Yeah.
goal went in. I wasn't worried. I was just like, bro, that goal was absolutely garbage. Like, oh my goodness.
What a sad goal for Ipswich to come back up. Like it won't be as sad because it was Manchester City,
Right.
so they'll always remember like, oh, the 5 minutes we were up on Manchester City. You know, like if they go down, that's something they can go down with. Is that night in Manchester, even though it was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and
Right.
we went up on the champions of England. Uh, but it's Manchester City. It was you probably could have went to the bathroom with Ipswich up 1-0 and came back and Manchester City were up 3-1. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just uh, I think not fair would be the way I would say it as a Tottenham fan, but I think what's your word for that kind of performance?
So, do you want arrogant me or do you want realist me?
I want arrogant you. I want a little bit of some. You don't have a shirt saying 115 charges hanging on your wall because you're not arrogant about your club. I want arrogant you all the time. I want arrogant you when Andy's here.
Okay.
I want arrogant you when talking about your club
Yeah. Well, for me,
because
it's
you deserve it.
yeah. No, you're right. You're definitely right. Job well done. Job finished. We move on. We will be destroying a lot of teams this year. And with I wish we had Oscar Bob playing, bro, because we would have been destroying teams even more. Holland would I would say if Bob was still fit, if he didn't break his leg, unfortunately, I would say 40 goals for Holland, and I would say he challenges Messi's 90 calendar year, 90 goal calendar year. Actually, no, because he usually starts to fall off towards the latter end of the year. Messi turns up, or at least that prime,
Mm-hmm.
Messi that year. Oh my goodness,
Yeah,
I don't know how to.
growth hormone Messi just pops up
Yeah,
in like April, and he gets
bro,
like 3 hat tricks in a row.
he's different. He was different. That's why he's the
Mm-hmm.
goat. But no, Man City, obviously, newly promoted team at home. You shouldn't be losing that game. I did predict 5-0. Obviously it was a 4-1 victory. It should have been more, to be honest. Rico Lewis hit the bar, De Bruyne hit the bar. Um,
I think I went 4-1. I'm not. I don't know if you have that written down anywhere or. But I did
um,
predict Ipswich to score, so I'll take that as a. I
yeah,
think everyone
no,
will
no.
take that as a victory.
I think you had three correct fixtures.
Oh, really?
Correct, like spot on. I forgot
Okay.
which ones though. But I know the City one you're correct on.
I know
Um,
it's correct on Brighton United.
yeah,
Uh, I know I said 2-0 Tottenham. Uh, I know I had Newcastle. Did I? I think I went 2-0 Liverpool Brentford.
mm-hmm.
Okay.
Here's what we're gonna start doing. I'll do like a little graphic just so we can keep
Yeah.
track of
Like
things.
how many points
Yeah,
each one? I'm down to get competitive on that because if my team's not going to be competitive in the league, this is a league I can be competitive in. Is predicting the scores every week.
yeah.
Uh,
Um,
do, I wanted to ask. Do you think you guys do anything in the rest of the window?
I heard a lot of different names. Like we just got linked to the Copenhagen striker from I don't know if he's from Norway, if he's one of the Scandinavian countries. I know that for a fact. But he's been linked to Man City as a potential backup striker. I know we talked about Kyogo,
Mm-hmm.
for Farahashi from Celtic being linked as well. Honestly, I don't know. Like this is a weird window. Like we really didn't have any names, like except for the Savino deal that was already done in
Yeah.
January.
It also doesn't feel like you have many holes. I mean, I don't want to,
Right.
I
I
don't want
think
to make it seem like I'm kind of like twerking for you guys because I'm not. But I mean, it just is even unbiasedly like you
right.
guys really don't have any holes in this team.
I think what we're
Uh,
looking at is that if we're going to be winning the Champions League, we're going to have to run into Real Madrid, right?
mm-hmm.
And they're just strengthening their club. And we've got to talk about that as well with Trent Alexander-Arnold and his little hissy fit that he had on the bench.
Oh, I wanted to talk about that and I forgot about it.
Yeah, but
Yeah. Grow
yeah.
up.
I mean, City's going to aim for Real Madrid. Um, and obviously that's what's going to happen. We're going to have to sign some of these players.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let's talk about Trent real quick.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, just kind of like grow up. I mean, it's uh slots. It's early in the season. Like you're going to get to play. You're Trent Alexander Arnold. You're kind of like I think Slot kind of felt like in that position, and I think he told him that and he kind of calmed down. He's like, "You're like one of the linchpins of this team. You know, I need you for when it's not a game we're absolutely just like strangling the opponent.
Right.
You know, but uh, I'll be interested to see if that goes anywhere because I think that's kind of like an early moment for Slot where he can't go too hard on Trent. He can't go full like, I'm not playing you at the weekend because of your behavior, but uh, he needs to command a little bit of respect there because
Mm-hmm.
I know Klopp wouldn't uh, take any of that. I couldn't imagine that happening.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, from Real Madrid, I think it's not if, but when at this point now. I
Mm-hmm.
think if they don't get the deal done, coming up at the end of, in a few days, it's going to
Oh,
be
for
done.
Trent, you think he's going to go this window?
I think there's a chance.
Wow.
And it wouldn't be as much money either, since he's
Because he's got eight
less than a
months
year.
left on his
Yeah.
deal.
Yep. So either they sell him now, get a little bit of profit off of him, or you sell him or lose him on a Bosman deal in January and goes on a free. I think you cash in now. You have Connor Bradley in there who can do just as well, if not better, in my opinion. Because I'm not a big fan of Trent. I think he's very overrated, and I've
Mm-hmm.
been on record saying that. Um, so honestly, I don't think that would be a big miss for them. Because if I'm being honest, he crosses the ball pretty well, cool. That messed me up in my fantasy Premier League team because
See,
he
this
doesn't
is
play
this
like
is the
that.
arrogant tie now. We're actually getting arrogant tie because he just
Yeah,
said the guy who most people think is the best right back in the league is just a cross merchant.
I think he
You know.
is. I honestly think he is. Like, I don't think he's good. And if he goes to Real Madrid, he might get exposed, bro.
Oh, I think him in the Madrid because I was just thinking about it, I think him in Madrid kind of makes them more susceptible
Yeah,
because like if you're gonna have a guy in Mbappe who's just not going to go back, the last thing you need is a right back who's going to be caught out of position occasionally because he's going up too high.
right.
Uh, but in the overall, it wouldn't be a deficit for them because I still think Trent's a good enough player to whatever he's giving up in the back. I think he's at least giving to you. So if you're saying he's just like a net equal player, you know,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but I that's interesting. I'd be interested to see that. That's not really one I was following. I know they kind of established some sort of contact with Chiesa
Mm-hmm.
today, the Juventus winger.
Bro, he's washed. He's
Oh,
washed.
I know he's washed. People were kind of like hyping up for Spurs. I'm like, guys, we already got the good Juventus. We already got Kulusevski. Let
Right.
Kulusevski do his thing. Let him come back and actually play. I think that's a wrinkle that's going to start happening for us as well. It was something I kind of mentioned last week. But maybe even having, once we get the defense more solidified, having a Kulusevski and Madison both playing at the same time to give like
Mm-hmm.
both sides of the field that ability to, pass the ball. But I wouldn't be surprised if he starts on Sunday
Mm-hmm.
because Brennan Johnson. If we're talking about people that I want transferred away, uh, and no offense to the guy, because like I said, I don't want to hate on my own players. If he comes back around, if he figures out how his touch works,
Right.
you know,
How to
uh,
actually use both his feet.
I call him light skinned Mudrik because it's just what he is. Both of them are the exact same player. They're way too fast for uh their feet are faster than their brain.
Right.
They don't even realize they have the ball until the ball is already out of play, and they're like, "Wait, I had the ball." You know, it was just they just don't know what to do with it when they get there because they're just they're fast. They're not thinking like, "Okay, do I pass? Do I?" Because by the time they get to their surroundings, they're at the byline.
Hmm.
Uh, but you know, is there any move that you're wanting to see? Is there anything that you really want for City? Like if you could get a semi-realistic player with the window going on still, who would it be?
Personally,
Or do you think you're
semi
good? Do you think you guys are good to go?
I did say I know when Kyogo was linked to us, I kind of before that I was like I don't think we need anybody else, and that was before Gundogan was even a thing. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the fact that we got Gundogan on a free, insane. We literally like that transfer kind of just like okay it happened. Like
Mm-hmm.
with Barcelona, let him go, and Barcelona's like yeah take him back. And I was like okay,
Yeah,
you know
they're like we can't register him. We have no clue what we're doing as an establishment.
yeah it's like
We're
we need more Spotify streams. My fault guys.
they have to rely on Drake. You cannot rely on 2024 Drake.
You telling me
That
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 not like
isn't.
us didn't fund their transfer fund? Come on, bro. That song was played literally 18 billion times.
I'm crying.
They're not like
He's
us.
they're out here. Their best player isn't Lamine Yamal. It's Sabrina Carpenter. You know, they can't do anything without the with some espresso. That's
Right.
what they need is some espresso. Uh, but
Um.
Like in seriousness, their complete and utter incompetence as a footballing establishment was your gain.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
outside of that, you think you're good?
I think so. Honestly, I
Okay.
think if unless there's like a crazy injury that happens again,
Mm-hmm.
um, I think our business is done. I don't just see anything happening in January either. To be honest, City really doesn't do any deals. I think the last deal that we did in January was Laporte. You know, but we don't do anything like that anymore. So, um, yeah, I think we're good. Honestly, think we're
Mm-hmm.
good. Bill sent in another question. I'm not sure if you can see the screen or not, but he did say, "Do you see Son staying at Spurs for a few more years, or do you think he may leave?"
I think honestly, I think it depends if we win something this year.
Okay.
I think he kind of has this belief in his mind where he doesn't feel like he's a club legend since he hasn't won anything with the club. I personally respect the Tiger Cup. I think it was a great competition. I think it's an absolute or the what was it, the J
The
League
J League
Challenge Cup
Challenge
it
Cup. Yep.
was.
Yep.
Respect the J League Challenge Cup. I know you do, Bills. But so I think if they win something this summer, or this season, I think there's kind of a agreement where they're like, okay, go get your bag in the Middle East, or go back to Korea, go be a superstar. Uh, I do in the back of my mind there is a Harry Kane Heung-min Son reunion at
Ooh.
Tottenham,
I
but
was
I
at
just
Bayern.
no at Tottenham, no, not at Bayern. No, if Bayern takes both of my players, I pray all the Xavi Alonso dark magic on that club possible.
Yeah, but that, but see, I wish I had that
Yeah,
soundbite. I would have played that right there, but I spared you. I spared you.
I appreciate you. I appreciate that you yabba dabba didn't. So, but no, that's a really good question. I think Bills has had some really good questions. We appreciate you uh
Yeah,
listening in the pod, man.
yeah, man. This honestly, the questions were very, really good. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and not random either. I mean, if there's
Yeah,
anything
they're
else,
on topic.
yeah, for sure. Had us thinking as well. Um, yeah, I mean, I think in terms of matches, I don't think there's really anything else we wanted to cover. I don't think we're really
Yeah.
talking about Bournemouth, or I don't think we're really talking about like those type of teams. But
Uh, uh, Emil Smith row goal.
that was
Good for
tough.
him.
That was tough.
Uh, I mean, yeah, I think we're just kind of looking forward to this next match week
Mhm.
because I think we have about 4 or 5 games to break down on Thursday. It'll be a really good time.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah, Bill said, "I can't believe you guys don't have more viewers. This is great content."
Oh well, we appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we're just starting it up. This
Literally.
is all. I can't say we're. This is all TJ on the back end. He does everything here. He just invites me to yap with him. So I just appreciate all the stuff he does on his end to
Nah,
get
man.
this going.
This is a team
Uh,
effort, bro. Team effort. You know, we are not Chelsea FC where we are a bunch of individuals in in the same color shirt and we act like we're a team. Nah, we
uh,
this is a team, bro.
I would say I'm the Enzo in this situation, but knowing all the other stuff Enzo does, I do not want to say I'm the Enzo or the Gallagher or the I don't know who else they have on their team. That's kind of a selfish player. Uh, but no, yeah, like I said, we appreciate you, Bills, listening in tonight. I appreciate TJ everything he does on his end. Uh, and we're this is something we're just hoping goes off
Yeah,
because in the U.S. I don't know if you're American Bills. I'm assuming you are because I'm assuming Bills is probably Buffalo. Uh, there's just not a lot of people in my area. I don't know about TJ's area specifically, who are just like into the prem, into soccer, football. Uh, it's just a growing sport, so I appreciate every single time I get to talk about it.
yeah. Look, the market in America is absolutely insanely big. The
Yeah.
people who are big in America now, I'm telling you, they like those like the old timer type of content type of guys.
Mm-hmm.
This new wave of soccer people, of soccer fandom that's coming through. who
Mm-hmm.
actually take the sport more seriously and not at a casual type of level,
Yeah.
the insight that's coming through on the American side, that it'll literally make
Mm-hmm.
Europeans be like, "Oh snap, these guys actually like
Yeah.
appreciate the sport," you know?
And I think it's something where it feels like a lot of the soccer media is just kind of like legacy media. It's like
Mm,
your Twelmans and your Gomez's and your Alexi Wallace's. And while they do occasionally have good points, uh, I think they're just kind of hamstrung by being in and around the federation. I think this next generation of just like people like us, people like you, I'm sure, Bills, just people who love the game but aren't, like kind of like hamstrung to kind of, you're not afraid to say your own team didn't play good. You're not afraid to call out a player on your team or call out a different player in a different league. And I just think that that's going to be the more seriously our generation and the generations coming up take it, I think the better it'll be for US fans
for
and for
sure.
the team itself.
Yeah, and he comes in with another question as well. He says, "Do you guys think MLS will become bigger than leagues like Bundesliga or Ligue 1?" Absolutely not.
Not in the foreseeable future. I don't know if I've ever talked to you about this. I just kind of think the best way forward is kind of like the Dutch league, where we just kind of develop our own, bring back and that's the best way for the US to grow and the league to grow, is to become a fully developmental league before it takes that next step.
Right,
And maybe we could just get a USA coach at Man United then, and then they can do the whole Ten Hag ordeal where he only signs Dutch players,
right.
but he only signs American players, and then we're off to the races.
See, here's the thing. I think with MLS, if they want to be considered one of like a bigger league, like in respect with like Liga and Bundesliga, even the
Mm-hmm.
Prem La Liga, I think the fact that those teams play each other in the Champions League and they compete at a high
Mm-hmm.
level, there needs to be support. So Liga MX, they
That's
need
that's a
to,
really good point.
they need to build up their teams.
Mm-hmm.
The Caribbean, Canada,
Yeah.
all the like, and
Even
I'm not
even
saying
like North American, South American, I think that's what that's going to lead to for any of those leagues to kind of compete again,
right.
is a joint between those two confederations.
Copa Libertadores needs to be combined with the Concacaf Champions League if they
Mm-hmm.
want to take it seriously.
Yeah.
Simple as that. So like Corinthians, that's
Mm-hmm.
just more cash flow for everybody, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that
And
makes
yeah, it's
more
it's it's the
sense,
U.S. money too.
right?
Uh, and I think that's another thing that like the MLS would probably have to take a temporary hit to grow the league more, because there's kind of like there's this deserved stigma of a retirement league.
Right,
But what can I say about that stigma when I'm like going to games and like Shaqiri's pulling up 300 pounds and is not doing like drills before the game, or like just kind of like the stigma the league has right now. I don't want to call
right,
out Shaqiri in particular because I love Shaqiri, uh, but until you prove to other people that you're not what your label is, you're just going to continue to be your label. And I think the MLS will continue to have that problem if they prioritize short term over long term gains, which I
right.
think we could both agree they do.
Absolutely, you're definitely right. And Bill said, yeah, yeah, same as the Saudi league, right?
Oh, 100%.
But the thing is, for the Saudi league though, and also MLS as well, they don't really win
Mm-hmm.
the champions. Like they don't win their confederations Champions League,
I'd, I'd expect more from the U.S. than the Saudi League,
right?
because I think just based off of the size and the players we have now, and I know Saudi Arabia had they beat Argentina at the World Cup if I remember correctly, but they just don't have the talent level internally to kind of sustain the league. The U.S. is sooner or later going to have a talent level enough to sustain the league. It's just going to be whether they prioritize that or if they keep on prioritizing, like, you know, in 5 years, is it going to be a league where we're like, the biggest star in the league is Kevin Sullivan, or is the biggest star in the league going to be Marcus Rashford?
Right.
When he inevitably burns out, because he's already burned out at like 26. I'd hate to see what he's going to look like at 31.
Yeah, bro.
Uh, which I don't know. Just real quick, I want to talk on you. Uh, I'm sure that has to upset you that he's in Starboy conversation still when he's like 60% of the way to retirement. That he gets put in Starboy conversations.
I have the best, literally the best comparison to this guy, bro. And
Please don't pull up Jason Tatum because I know you might be pulling up Jason Tatum.
I am.
Jason,
There he is. There's Marcus Rashford. I wish I had like an edit of him in like a Manchester United kit or opposite. But this is legit the American version of Marcus Rashford right there,
what I'm
bro.
gonna need you to do is I'm gonna need you to do a half and half with those two.
Yeah.
And it's one of those like you killed the man but not the idea. I I'm gonna need you to do that, and I think that's what we need to open up the pod with on Thursday.
I think so.
Is you killed the man but not the idea. Uh, but I gotta go, man.
Yeah. Yeah,
Appreciate you,
Bills.
Bills. We do this Monday, Thursday, so we appreciate you coming. I hope you're a returning listener. And I appreciate you, TJ. Appreciate you having me on the pod again.
Yeah, no problem, my guy. Yeah. Bills, if you want to share this with your boys or whatever, bro, hit the follow, send the link over. We definitely appreciate that. Get more awareness onto, our pod. And we're gonna have more guests on as well. So look, man, we really, we appreciate, the questions, you tuning in, being engaged and everything, bro, because the conversation really went well.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, we do have, real life jobs. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, no, see you on
Yeah.
Thursday, my guy. That's what he
Yeah.
said.
Oh, you see on Thursday. There we
Yeah,
go.
that's lit,
Oh, wait,
bro.
no, like right now it's just a passion,
Yeah,
and there's that's the part of the game we all love the most is a passion.
literally.
Uh, so
So yeah,
I'll be down Thursday. I know TJ will be here, and it sounds like you'll be here, Bills. So we appreciate you, man.
there you go. Yeah, have a good night, everyone.
All right.